There's two parts to it. One, anybody out there could do this transformation. But the question I ask you is, do you have the discipline? And that's the difference between somebody whose occupation requires them to earn money from their body and you and me who are normal people. So there's not enough of impetus to do it. But jokes apart, in terms of whether you can do it or you cannot do it, I do believe genuinely anyone can do it. The difference is, how do you approach it? Do you approach it scientifically? Do you approach it with experts? And I do believe that nutrition is so convoluted. Even my mother is a nutritionist. I mean, like my mom will call me up and she's like, "Did you have your apple today? I asked you to have peppermint and turmeric tea." I'm like, "Mom, I'm one of the best nutritionists on the freaking planet." She's like, "You keep quiet. I'm your mother and you are my son. I will teach you how to eat correctly." So, jokes apart, everyone thinks nutrition is a subject matter that's very easy to do. I come from a profession of nutritionist. If I practiced in a hospital, I would get a degree in nutrition and dietetics, and then I would be called a dietitian. I have a degree in clinical biochemistry, nutrition coaching, health coaching, and a sports diploma in sports nutrition. I do not have the ability to practice in a hospital. What's the difference? You need to know the difference. Whenever you meet somebody in a hospital, most likely that person is a dietitian, and they're using diet as a therapy to cure your disease. When you meet a nutritionist, you're looking to evolve yourself and change the way you eat. Like, your mom and dad and your grandparents have taught you how to eat, and that's out of love and culture. Now we live in 2021. Are you still eating out of love and culture, or are you eating with a little science? So I'm hoping in today's session, I'm hoping I can convince you on the science. I'm going to give you a few tips, and I still have a lot of energy left for the rest of the day. So I'm happy to take your queries if they're pertinent to diet and nutrition. And yes, I'm going to be working with the team in Dubai. I will be available for consultation post August this year because I'm working with a lot of Olympic guys, and my schedule's up to here. But my team at Koa Nutrition, Koa in Latin means incapacity, are open to doing online consultation with the team in Dubai. So let's get cracking and let me make you understand the different things that we can be doing. Now, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey. Okay. The first things you need to do is you need to understand you are what you eat. Okay. So, first question to you: what did you eat this morning? Okay, what did you eat this morning? So I'm just going to go into my chat box right now, and I want you to type up quickly, what did you eat this morning? Which was nutritious or which was unhealthy? Which was unhealthy? So I got tea and almonds from Shweta. Quite good, quite good. Tea and almonds. Paratha, all right. Upma, somebody said unhealthy. Full power to you for being truthful. Idli sambar, watermelon, red poha. Somebody had coffee, green tea. Some people on intermittent fasting, so they're just having coffee. Omelets, rotis, fruit, hard boiled, veg, oats, germinated seeds, carbohydrate, eggs, dosa, sprouts, poha. Can you see how much somebody did biscuits? Okay, so maybe you're busy and you don't have time, and you can get a healthy biscuit, or you could just get a Parle G biscuit. uh, can you see the variation, the cultural variation? So this is the thing: you take advice from the internet, and whilst you're born with dosa, somebody is saying eat pancakes with white egg whites, you will become Amir Khan six pack. It doesn't work that way. You take your culture, you take your nutrition, and you work on that in your body. You take the components in that. For example, if you take a idli, right? Idli is a small, what I call is a pancake. It's a fluffed up pancake from South India, and it could be made from pure rice, high sugar level, high carbohydrate level, or you could add oats in it. Just brought the carbohydrate level down, or I could add beetroot and carrot in the idli and steam it. So I'm adding fiber in there and vegetable in there and just make it healthier. Uh, the way to do this is actually to consult with a nutritionist. A lot of the other day I got a call from a guy and he says, "Don't you think you're charging too much of money to kind of consult to just tell me what I need to eat because I know what I need to eat?" So I asked him, "Sir, what car do you drive?" He says, "I drive a Mercedes Benz." I'm like, "Sir, what does one oil change cost in your Mercedes Benz?" He says, "It cost me about 50,000 rupees, so about $700. So I'm like, "I'm charging you $150 to do a diet counseling with my dietitian, but you're complaining about it in terms of that ratio." So I want people to understand this one thing. The food you put into your body is like the servicing you do to your vehicle, the servicing you do to your phone. My phone goes, I drop it down right now. I've lost about 500, $600 on this phone. I'll go out and buy a new phone. Can you change your body? Can you drop your body and replace your body? If we could, you'd not need a doctor, you'd not need a nutritionist, you'd not need anything. Just get rid of the body, take out your subconsciousness and put it into another body, and boom, you're ready to go. So have all the burgers, pizzas, Pepsi, Coke, sedated beverages, whatever you want. But the first rule I give everyone is when you eat something, how do you feel? So yesterday I had sushi, and I think I'm allergic to wasabi. So from yesterday to today, I'm feeling a little bit of pain in my throat because I don't like wasabi. Whenever I've had a wasabi, which is the type of Japanese vegetable, I keep getting this irritation. So I want you to slowly start realizing the food you put into you, breakfast, lunch, dinner. How does your brain feel? How does your mouth feel? How does your stomach feel? How is your potty the next day? If you're going to take a dump, how do you feel when you go to the toilet? Is your potty a thumbs up potty, or is your potty a thumbs up, thumbs down potty? So these are small indicators for you starting your own personalized nutrition plan. What I put into my body, how do I feel? Okay, so that's very important. I do believe health is the new wealth. I think COVID has made me busier than I've ever been in the last decade. I mean, if I take last decade of what I've been doing as a busy nutritionist and I scrunch that into 1 year, then that's the COVID year for you. Why? Because the nutritional awareness by people have just gone through the roof. And I want to thank Zivanza for collaborating with us at Core Nutrition and inviting me to Dubai to counsel with people across the Middle East, because I believe no matter what wealth you have, health is the new wealth. I have a gentleman in Dubai. He owns 22 luxury vehicles, of which eight are Rolls Royces. Eight are Rolls Royces. And he says, Ryan, what's the use of all of these luxury vehicles if I don't have my health? And I said to him that nutrition, sir, is your new currency in the new world of health being your wealth. So I say to each one of you, yeah, Bitcoins have come about. Yeah, thumbs up. You're going to put those Bitcoins into your mouth and you're going to eat them and you're going to get really strong and you're going to live 100 years. But your new Bitcoin is nutrition. So that's the whole perspective. Can I convince you to spend on choosing the right foods, on spend on education? So spend not only on money, on time. So today I met Fardeen at my new clinic in Bangalore, and it's amazing that I didn't have to spend 3 months educate him on the aspects of food because he's already doing that. So I would like to encourage each one of you to spend more amount of time on your education, on eating correctly. Don't trust everything that you read on the internet, but become aware. That's very, very important. I had a mango today. I had a mango and I'm feeling like a king. A lot of people, oh my God, mango's got sugar in it. Can I have it? There was a research paper that said people having mango actually can lose weight. I actually have a secret way of giving it across to people. The secret way is if you have sugar and diabetes as a problem, don't do more than 50 grams of mango. I'd allow 50 grams. If you're weight training, if you're working out, if you're walking, if you're running, if you're doing yoga, eat your mango post workout with a little bit of protein. That is the key thing that you can do in this summer season to enjoy the mangoes. The problem is you will take the mango after dinner. You will take the mango after lunch. So you've had lunch, and lunch, there's about 600 calories in that lunch. Dinner has about 500 calories. Now you add a mango to that. So that's added calories. You take the mango, don't add it to a meal, and keep it as a standalone snack. Ryan, can I have a mango as a dinner meal and replace it? Depends on how heavy you are, how much of fat you have, what issues you have, and stuff like that. So keep that in mind, that you can't make a food toxic to your body just because it has got sugars and calories in it. What we need to do, I would advise you to exercise and eat healthy. Your immune system will get stronger. I predict that COVID is not going to be the last of the viruses to visit us in the new age. There are going to be more and more viruses, and there's going to be lesser and lesser immunity in our population, merely because of the advancement of the speed of our society, the way we work, the quickness of everything, no time to eat correctly. We eat at our desk. I mean, I had a 4.5 minute lunch today because I didn't have time. And I always tell people eat, eat slowly, eat with a plan in place in terms of relaxed. We gobble up food too fast. So I think because of the wrong way of eating, the timing of eating, the pesticides and insecticides in our food chain, our immune system is taking a lot of bashing. So when you educate yourself, you will understand that maybe going organic is one way to boost your immune system. Eating healthier, so choosing the right foods, and exercise. I'm going to come to you about exercise a little later, but there's a reason why I want to convince everyone on the planet to begin to exercise. Now, nutrition is very bio-individual. My clinic is called Qua Nutrition, if you see it over here. Qua in Latin means incapacity. So we help a client discover his or her capacity. Now, in terms of how I do it, if you come to me, I'll ask you to do a blood test. I'll ask you to do a genetic test. I'll ask you to do your body composition. Body composition is, oh, Mr. Fernando, my weight is 85 kgs. I'm supposed to be only 58 kgs. What should I do? I'm like, do you know your body composition of that weight? What is fat? What is water? What is muscle? And what is bone? So this is very, very important because that gives you a benchmark of knowing, like you see two cars on the road. Oh, wow, that's a Mercedes. Like, oh, wow, that's a Mercedes. Oh, but which model is it? How many cc is it? So like that, you come to me, oh, sir, my weight is 85 kgs. I'm like, but what's your bone mass? What's your water mass? What's your fat mass? Most important is your fat mass. And when you start working on nutrition, you need to know your fat percentage because many times people lose weight, but they don't lose fat percentage. What's your lifestyle? I'm a busy corporate executive. I do nutrition counseling from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. I am busy 7 days a week. I love my job, but I don't get time to do anything else. I eat at my desk. I'm eating very, very quick meals. But how do I take care of myself is by controlling what I put into my mouth, even though I don't have time to enjoy a meal. So I'm not looking at the psychological aspect of a meal. I'm looking at the physiological aspect of the meal. So if you're like me and you have busy lifestyles, and I'm sure most of you listening in today are at some level of an executive behavior, you have to look younger than your team. Your team is half your age. You need to deliver the energy out there. And let me tell you one thing, by working out and controlling your nutrition, I promise you in 6 months, you can become stronger, better looking, and better energy than you've ever had because you just change the way you eat to a science-based outline. What's your medical history? I had a client come to me. I can't disclose the name of the client, but this client had chronic fatigue and he had seen multiple doctors and everything, medications given, nothing's wrong with you, everything's perfect, your blood test is perfect, blah, 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 blah. So he came to me and he says, nobody's able to solve my problem and all. So one doctor said, why don't you check your nutrition? So I'm coming here, please check my nutrition. So I looked at all his nutrition, pretty good. Do you have any medical history? No, nothing. I just had my appendix removed long time ago. Oh, okay, very good. I need you to do a genetic test. Oh, what's that? Oh, sir, that's where I take a saliva sample and I go and look at your software in your human body called genes, and the genes activate your hardware, which is your body. Like, okay, let's do that. So 3 weeks later, get the result. This gentleman had a gene called the hemochromatosis gene. And what he didn't realize was that his body was storing an excess amount of iron. And he was taking a multivitamin because long time ago, a doctor told him to take a multivitamin because he's feeling tired. So his iron levels began building up because the multivitamin had iron in it, and he was taking more iron and he was overloading iron, and his liver was getting gunked up because there's too much of iron and he was getting chronic fatigue. Didn't do much. I just stopped his multivitamin and gave him some coffee so that the iron would not get absorbed that easily, and gave him a lot of calcium and magnesium and other minerals. And I just said, don't have any iron in your diet, avoid spinach, avoid dates for a few weeks. Sixth day, he called me up. He said, like, I got up feeling pretty nice this morning. I said, are you sure? He said, yes. And then a month later, he was like, I've never felt this energetic in my life before. And 3 months later, he called me back again and he said, Ryan, it's back again. I'm feeling tired. I mean, just tell me what you did in the last 4 days. He said, oh, okay. So he ran through his dietary recall. And the first thing he said is like, I started taking my multivitamin again. I'm like, repeat that again. Multivitamin. What problem do you have? Sir, I have an iron storage problem. Right. Does your multivitamin have iron in it? Yes, it does. So we then arrived at a conclusion that he was wrongly dosing himself, self-prescribing. This is why I say to everyone that trust your doctor to give you the decision, trust your nutritionist to give you the decision. A lot of people are self-medicating. And when I dug deeper, it was not the doctor who gave him the multivitamin. It was his friend that prescribed the multivitamin to him because he was feeling fatigued. So look at a lot of things. Like, for example, I told you about wasabi and my allergy to wasabi. So how do I know that? I did a food sensitivity test just out of the vanity of the whole thing. And I came to know I'm allergic to peanuts, I'm allergic to almonds, I'm allergic to wheat, I'm allergic to milk, I'm allergic to wasabi, I'm allergic to raspberries. I remove them out of my food. I purposely sometimes eat that food like I did yesterday. Actually, yesterday I didn't do it purposely. I ate the sushi and I forgot to tell the guy don't put wasabi in it. So by the time I finished the sushi, I kept doing that. So I noticed it. Now, if I did not know about my food sensitivity, I'd keep taking foods that create an allergic reaction, which creates a lot of inflammation and mucus formation. So we juggle all of this as a nutritionist and we come to a conclusion. What do we need to do? Now, in today's world, you must have heard of comorbidities, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and hypertension. Those of you who are Indians on this webinar, we Indians have 60% or 80% of the population, apparently, according to my genetic lab, is predisposition to cardiovascular disease because of 5, 6 genes that are having a pathogenic variant in the Indian population. So I have the cardiomyopathy gene and I have the atrial fibrillation gene. So which means at some point in my life, I'm going to require a pacemaker. But uh, I consult with Dr. Ashish Contractor, is one of the best cardiologists that I know of who trains marathon runners. He's like, Ryan, don't worry about it. You just keep tracking everything and you keeping doing what you're doing, your diet well, and nothing should happen to you because it's only a risk element. It's your diet. And this is the doctor telling me it's your diet that's what's causing the issues for high cardiovascular diseases or hypertension or diabetes in our population. We do not know how to eat correctly. When you're born, you're put with sugar in your mouth in the first meal. It shouldn't be the case. And then you're addicted to sugar. Like today, I gave cornflakes to my kid because you asked for cornflakes. I gave him milk. He's allergic to dairy milk. I gave him oat milk. He liked it. Papa, I want sugar in it. I had a tough time trying to convince him that he's not supposed to have sugar as an 8-year-old. Why? Because I don't want to preset him up like my parents have preset me up for diabetes at an older age. So we want to look at a balance of how do we feed our population of future children. And those of you who are above 20, no, giving up tea or coffee with just 2 teaspoons of sugar is not the be all and end all to avoid diabetes. There's a lot of sugar that goes into your body via other foods, processed foods, restaurant foods. So please become aware by reading up and getting your act together. It's very, very important. Okay, this is an important slide. This is for all the ladies and the men in this audience, but more specifically for the ladies. Now, if you see over here, okay, there are 3 women over here. Look at the top line at the neck. The weight of all 3 ladies is 54, 54, 54. Notice the middle lady is smiling the most, and the last lady is sad. These are normal women who come to me. Ryan, I am so heavy. I don't know why. This is the first lady coming to me. Ryan, I'm heavy, but I want to lose some weight. And the middle lady almost invariably never comes to me. Right? Why? Let's have a look. Look at the BMI. BMI is body mass index, which is the height to weight ratio. All the same. They're all the same height, all the same age. But check out the body fat percentage. The first lady has 22.6, the second lady 15.8, and the third lady 31.5. They're still the same weight. But fat is the weight that you need to become aware of in 2021. When people tell me in 2021, I am fat, I ask them, what is your fat percentage? Don't know, but I'm 80 kgs. You need to know your fat percentage. Okay. And below that, there is a term known as your metabolic age. So when you have a lowered body fat percentage, your age will be lower. So this lady is actually 30 years old, but she's 5 years younger than her birth certificate age. So she's 25. And the lady who has more body fat or maybe visceral fat will be 5 years or 10 years older. So, for example, I am 46 years of age. My birth certificate age is 46, but my metabolic age is 33. How do you do that? You keep a lower body fat percentage on you. Yes, you may be lean, you may be skinnier, But let's say you want reproduction or you want voluptuous curves, both men and women. For men, the ideal body fat percentage is 15 to 20. For women, it's 20 to 25. And if you're planning to have a child, childbearing phase, it's 25 to 30%. Most people that I meet who are on the heavier side, I'm using the word heavier side, who have a BMI above 22. And you can just, Google up my website, Ryan Fernando, and I have a calculator over there. You can enter in your height and your weight, and you can get a BMI calculator. So you can calculate a lot of stuff in terms of educating yourself on your health. So those are things that are going to help you out become more and more aware. Now, when I go to my gym, I see a lot of uncles and I see a lot of aunties on the gym. Now, I use the word uncle and auntie very liberally and very jovially. So don't please assassinate me for calling you an uncle or auntie, but I call everyone an uncle and auntie from a perspective of their metabolic age. So you might be young, you might be a 30-year-old in the gym, you're a little bit on the heavier side and you're running on the treadmill. And I always go up to these uncles or these aunties and I say, please don't run. So I want to share this graph with you. Okay. Look at the top of the graph. There's a red battery called fat, and there's a gold battery called carbohydrate. Now I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine there are two batteries in your body. So when you start working out, when you starting using energy, one battery, so let's say I have my AC remote over here. Okay. One battery is the fat battery and one battery is the carbohydrate battery. So let's say this black pouch is the carbohydrate battery. Now, when I start working out at low intensity, look at the first lady under walking. You see that 70% of the battery is being utilized. 70% energy is coming from fat and only 30% is coming from the carbohydrate. And as you increase your intensity, you start huffing and puffing and running, your fat percentage comes down and your carbohydrate utilization goes up. So when people try to lose weight, I say walking, yoga, and weight training are the best exercises to bring down your fat. Why do you want to lose fat? Fat is the number one suspect culprit in diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. Fat is a defunct molecule in your body. It's a troublemaker. You want to get it lowered. By the way, fat cells reside in your body for 8 years. Your intestine cells reside for 11 days. Your lung cells reside for about 10 years. Your hemoglobin resides for about 4 months. It's called the turnover rate. Now, when I discovered this, I was like, whoa, fat cells decide to reside in your body for 8 years. So, Mr. Ryan, when you make that guy lose weight, his fat cell is this big. So he's come on a Ryan Fernando diet plan, fat percentage comes down. But the fat cell is still there in your body. It's still lying dormant. Now you decide to go for a holiday to Maldives. You pig out for 1 month, boom. You come back, you start your exercise, goes down a little bit. But then, your boss calls you for a new meeting, a new promotion, and then boom, 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 it goes up. That guy has not gone out of your body. So basically, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is I'm trying to convince people that eating and exercising should be an 8 year plan. Because you got to hold a gun to fat and say, dude, till you freaking get out of my body, I'm holding a gun to your head. And what's that gun? Diet and exercise. Eating the right foods in the right quantity. So people ask me, high protein, low carb, intermittent fasting, keto diet, Atkins diet. I've discovered one thing that the industry is not telling you. It's bioindividuality. So Mr. Khan and myself are working together right now, and he's like, dude, what should I do next? I'm like, we're waiting on your genetic test. We'll take a decision when that comes out. He's like, no, but what would you do? I'm like, whatever I do is what you've been doing all these years. So we need to figure out what is your metabolic response, which could include something as simple as gluten. Like, for example, a lot of people, when I do the gluten DNA testing and then I do the gluten blood test, the gluten blood test is thumbs down, not allergic. I do the gluten DNA test. It says that you have the base pair, which shows that you're at a high risk of gluten sensitivity. So what I do, I pull out gluten from the diet. Clients very grumbling. I can't eat cake. I can't eat biscuits. I can't eat chapati. I can't eat paratha. And then we just track the fat percentage for 6 months. Every person that I've put off the gluten diet, especially the B positive, those of you who are AB positive, B positive, B negative group, Take a tip from me. Everyone who turns up at the Quantition clinics, I have seen data across my clinic. Anyone's AB positive, AB negative, B positive, for some strange reason, if I take them off gluten, boom, their fat percentage goes down. Now, a lot of doctors in the community in today's chat and all would say to me, but Mr. Fernando, where's the scientific proof? I work on a simple logic. A medicine can kill a person, food can't kill a person. So far, right? I tell people a simple logic. Try a diet or try a food for 3 months. Have data with you. Have your blood test and have your fat percentage and muscle percentage. Have your wake up. I feel like $1 million. I don't feel like $1 million. Put this together. If you start seeing positive changes, you're definitely in the right direction. For me, for example, I love to walk for 20, 25 minutes and do 8 second sprints in between and then walk till my heart rate comes down. So there is a secret fat burning zone for every age. It's basically 220 minus your age. So if you're 40 years of age, it's 220 minus 40, that's 180. And then walk at 60 to 70% of that target heart rate. If you want to know more about this, then I'll probably put up the equation on my Instagram or my Facebook post today. Mridul, if you're listening in on my lecture, Mridul's part of my relationship management team. Mridul, do me a favor. Today's post or tomorrow's post, how to calculate your target fat burning zone. Please put up that calculation on my profile on Facebook or on Instagram. I do a gene test where I find out whether you have a predisposition. So if you look at this red signal over here, if your Google marker comes on red, then I cannot give you a high carbohydrate diet. So a lot of people say, Ryan, should I not eat carbs? I'm going beyond all the stupid lectures that we've been receiving over the years from so-called experts. Yeah, I think you should do brown rice. I think you should do intermittent fasting. Oh, yeah, I'm on the keto diet. No, no carbohydrates at all. There's no rice or anything. I'm just very simple right now. I'm like, listen, dude, let's check your genetics. What does your body respond to? And so they're finding out that certain people are responders to carbohydrate. So I actually, when I get a green, I actually put a person on carb diet and they're like, dude, how did I lose weight with you on a carb diet? There's something wrong with the diet because I ate carbs. I ate my kotori of rice. I'm like, I gave you the right amount of rice. What you were doing earlier was eating too much of rice. So you need to figure out what's the right amount of rice. Okay. The same we do for protein, the same we do for saturated fat. By the way, most Indians are coming back with saturated fat acceptance on butter, ghee, and coconut oil. Now, unless your cardiologist is tracking your homocysteine, your lipoprotein A, lipoprotein B, C reactive protein, LDL, VLDL, triglycerides, and HDL, I think if all of these markers are okay and you've done your 2D Doppler, your treadmill stress test, and your echocardiogram, and all is clear, and that's what Dr. Ashish Contractor did for me, all is clear, and you see absolutely no wrong. And then I suddenly switched to saturated fat, which is coconut oil, and in my cooking, and suddenly I'm losing 4 kgs of fat. Virat Kohli lost 5 kgs of body fat with me in 40 days before the IPL last year. 5 kgs of fat and gained 3 kgs of muscle. And it's just pure discipline and knowing what to do and when to do. Discipline is a key thing. Knowing the stuff is very good. Very interesting. I actually advise everyone to do a genetic test because there's a gene test that I do at my clinic which says, will you lose weight or gain weight with exercise? So there's a common belief, ladies and gentlemen, that if I exercise, I'm getting a get out of jail card free to eat what I want. So a lot of people exercise because they want to eat. But I'd like to break your bubble. And I did this to my dad. So my dad's diabetic and loves to eat and stuff like that. And he's 73 now. So about 8 years ago, I did this test for him. So I said, "Hey, Dad, your exercise marker doesn't work for your insulin sensitivity, and your exercise marker doesn't work for your weight loss." So my mother hits him with a spoon on his head. Okay, a wooden spoon. Like, see, I've told you not to eat. All these years, I'm telling you not to eat. So that's a very and my father goes to me, "You bloody fool. Who asked you to do this test on me? Now I have to listen to your mother for the next 30 years." I'm like, "Oh, Dad, you're planning to live that long? You've got diabetes. You need to get your act together." So now he's getting his act together because He's like, you know what? My son told me that exercise doesn't work for me. So I've got to be very cautious on what I put into my body. So for all of you out there who assume that exercise works for you, now if it's green, thumbs up. So anyone who got green, I'm like, yeah, dude, enjoy your Baskin Robbins once a week, enjoy your Subway once a week. And like, some like, Ryan, I don't eat Subway once a week. I don't eat a biryani once a week. I'm like, okay, enjoy the biryani once a week. But the whole process is, if that's not working for you and you're thinking exercise is going to be your insurance policy, think again. We're living in 2021. We've got data on hand that can tell you exactly what you need to do. I talked to you about hemochromatosis, heart disease, a lot of things. People who are very OCD and cannot take future knowledge of their health, please do not do a health gene test. I repeat, please do not do a health gene test because it's only a risk assessment. But people have walked out of my clinic. Oh my God, Mr. Fernando told me that I have the cardiomyopathy gene. So I am going to get heart problem. And then you leave my clinic, heart problem, heart problem, heart problem. Genetics is like a gun. Imagine you have a gun. Lifestyle is a bullet. Okay. So let's say this pen is my gun. Okay. I need to find a bullet over here. Okay. So I found one of my Q magnets. I use this magnet for therapy on my aches and pains whenever I have it. Okay. So let's imagine this magnet here is my bullet and the pen is my gun. Genetics is the gun and the lifestyle is my bullet. Now, if I say to you, you have the cardiomyopathy gene, I also follow it up saying that with high fat diet, no exercise, smoking, alcohol, drinking, boom, they come together. You load the gun and you have to do sufficient amount of it to pull the trigger and shoot yourself. However, if you have the gun, but you don't load the bullet, there's nothing, the risk element comes down. This forward crystal ball gazing into your future works for people who are diligent. It works for people who make their bed. It works for people who use two different cloths to clean their car. It works for people who dot the T's and cross the I's. For the rest of you who are very stressed out, don't do this test because you'll just convince yourself, oh my God, I got the gun. I'm going to get heart disease, and you're going to use psychological manifestation to get yourself out of it. By the way, there are people who don't have the gun, they don't have the gene, but their lifestyle is so bad, they just take the bullet and smash it in their head. Those are people who smoke and drink and absolutely have no control on their diet. They don't have the genetic gene towards a heart disease, but they just use lifestyle and hammer a bullet into their head. So it works both ways. A few tips, okay? I'd like you to do apple if you're not allergic to apple, because apple has fiber in it. If you can get apples without wax coating, organic apples, thumbs up. Really good in weight loss. So when I put my supermodels, film stars on diets, I'm normally doing apple and pear as a key driver for satiety, sweetness, and very low amount of calorie. I'm looking at cucumber. I use a lot of cucumber in my weight loss. I use a lot of apricots. I use a lot of celery. These are what we call as negative calorie foods. There's a connotation saying that these foods don't give you huge amount of calories but still give you satiety sensation of fullness. Okay. Fat burning herbs, cinnamon, dalchini cinnamon really works well. There was a study where 4.5 grams of cinnamon helped reduce belly fat by 5% over 6 months. So I put cinnamon in a lot of my food, but I get mouth ulcers with cinnamon, so I stopped doing it. But a lot of my clients, I try a little bit of cinnamon, little bit of cinnamon, little bit of cinnamon. It's about 4.5 grams, which is about a teaspoon a day. Sprinkle it through the day. If you don't get acidity, if you don't get mouth ulcers, you're not allergic to the original Ceylon cinnamon. There is a lot of counterfeit cinnamon in the world. Ceylon cinnamon is the original cinnamon, contains a product in it called cinnamonaldehyde, which helps in insulin sensitivity, sugar control, as well as fat loss. Apple cider vinegar, thumbs up for some people, thumbs down. For me, apple cider vinegar doesn't work personally. I get acidity. But for a lot of my clients, when I give apple cider vinegar in the salad and give it to them, it raises the taste of the salad, and you get to a better level. Green tea. Green tea technically doesn't help a lot in fat burning, but I've discovered that people's love affair with tea and milk and sugar in India, especially among Indians, is so high. Me and my team did a calculation, and you have a 3.5 kg weight gain every year on 2 cups of tea a day if you don't work out, right? So the amount of calorie with the milk and the sugar amounts to 3.5 kgs in a year. So if I just get you onto a green tea, that's amazing. For those of you who run companies, green tea contains theanine. Robin Uthappa, the cricketer, won the orange cap in the IPL with me because I gave him a lot of theanine to calm his brain when batting. So for those of you who run creative teams, green tea represents an amazing amount of calmness in your team. If you have an angry boss, well, try and convert them to green tea. You might get them a little bit sobered up, and green tea is the way to go. Final point about green tea. Green tea is the only guy that contains EGCG, which is epigo-gallican catechin. I think that's the correct word. And it's the only antioxidant that can cross the eye barrier, which can help prevent cataract. So there's a lot of benefit in addition to lowering the calories from green tea. So these are some of the tips that I've given people, and people always ask me a lot of questions. If I do this, if I do that, I would say this to you. Today's journey and awareness is not about what would you do. It's about there's a lot that you can do, but it's got to be personalized and you got to sit down with a dietitian. You got to sit down with a nutritionist to get to that next level. Think about it. 30 years ago, people built their houses on their own and they had a lot of flaws in it. Today, you and I would not build our own dream house without an architect. And today, an architect would not construct the house. He'd get a contractor or an engineer, a civil engineer to construct your house. So you go through the right steps from the blueprint to execution of buying the raw material and your house being built. The same goes for your human body. So I tell a lot of people a nutritionist is like a nutrition architect for you. They discover your blueprint. You are the builder of your body and you go out and procure the raw materials and you put it into your body. So that's very important. And the procurement varies from person to person. Some of the foods that I really, really love, which help in metabolism, is high protein foods, cayenne, Tabasco sauce, chili peppers. If you don't have acidity, thumbs up. If you don't have issues with spice, thumbs up. Those of you who have ulcers, those of you who have issues with your gut, like I don't have chili pepper because I can get a ulcer very easily. I have a delicate, darling stomach. That's one of the reasons I became a nutritionist because I couldn't figure out why my stomach was never behaving itself. And then I went on to become a nutritionist. I'm like, oh, this is the reason. Oh, that's the reason. Oh, I shouldn't be having wheat. Oh, I shouldn't be having milk because my DNA says I should not have these things. But spinach, eggs, and any high protein foods are really, really up there. It's a wrong misnomer to say that if I eat a food, it's going to jumpstart my battery and make me burn more fat. I do believe you need to be physically active, and there's only that much of limited calories that you can eat. This is the biggest flaw that people do in self dieting. They go very low in calories and they do a lot of exercise, huge mismatch. Body says, hey, Mr. Fernando, this guy did lesser calories than his body requires. So his body requires 1200 calories. He's doing 600 calorie diet. He's in starvation mode. Hello, Mr. Cortisol, please release into the blood. Who's cortisol? Cortisol is a fat storage hormone. So then traffic comes in. Oh, hello, dinner. Please, please, please come here. Not going to carbohydrate. You please go directly to liver. You are going straight to Mr. XYZ belly fat. So we have this wrong notion that if I cut out my calories on my own, I starve myself, and I get into extreme exercise, it works. People are now talking about intermittent fasting. Yes, it does work. I do believe it works is because people are giving the body a longer fasting period. But a lot of my clients who did intermittent fasting, when I stood them on the weighing scale, we found muscle loss. So be aware when you're doing your intermittent fasting. People who have worked on intermittent fasting, like for example, Mr. Khan is on intermittent fasting with me. We're doing something known as a warrior diet, and it's working for him. So boom, 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 his fat percentages are coming down. It works for him. It may not work for you. An Atkins may work for you, a carbohydrate diet may work for you. Some of my favorite supplements are collagen, plant-based proteins, and glutamine. Again, don't take your supplements unless they're prescribed by your doctor or your nutritionist or your dietitian. A lot of people do self-prescription of supplements. It's like you trying to repair your own phone or open up your car and try to repair it yourself. Yes, many of you are enthusiastic hobbyists, and many of you are self-proclaimed nutritionists. Uh, the idea is to to utilize You utilize the expertise of an expert uh, to help you get to the next level. And I think that's what you should do. Why do I give collagen? Collagen helps in reducing fine line wrinkles. So when women start working out, men start working out, they lose weight, they lose haggard. So collagen works really, really well. Some people are allergic to collagen. Collagen is mostly non-veg. It's from marine sources. So you might have a marine allergy. It's also from bovine or cow. So you might have a religious issue with either one of these two. And so basically, I say to people that a collagen is given by me for people who have hypertension problems, elasticity of blood vessels. Collagen helps. It helps in the cartilage and ligament. And I remember, so my own father-in-law is an orthopedic surgeon, and he's like, "Which collagen is better, type 1 or type 2?" I'm like, "Papa ji, 1 second. Whatever protein we eat is not absorbed as protein. It's broken down to amino acids. So the collagen pool has an amino acid called proline and hydroxyproline, which enters into your blood pool, and then your body produces type 1, type 2, type 3. So whatever collagen you take, even if it's a vegetarian collagen, so-called vegetarian collagen, they need to have proline and hydroxyproline in it to get into your body to give you great hair, great skin. What's this got to do with fat burning? A lot of people give whey protein, which is milk-based protein. And I've seen when I give people dairy-based protein, they tend to bulk up. So you want to juggle all of these. I know I'm getting a lot of questions on supplements. It's a hotly contested topic in today's world. Do I need supplements? Do I not need supplements? I would say this to you. Supplements are a nutritional convenience for your nutritional indiscipline. I'll repeat that. Supplements are a nutritional convenience for your nutritional indiscipline. If you're nutritionally disciplined, you technically don't need supplements. Few other tips. Uh, don't watch TV. Don't look at your phone when eating. There are people who have the overeating gene. I have the overeating gene. So if I'm watching TV, I don't realize I can continuously keep eating, or I'll go to the fridge in the middle of the night and keep looking for snacks. My wife's like, "What are you doing in the fridge?" I'm like, "I don't know how I reached here." So there is a gene in us called the snacking gene. So we are foragers. We go and keep finding it. So such people who have copious amounts of food and all the stupid apps that are available to deliver. I had sushi yesterday because I felt like having sushi. Boom, boom, boom. Press the button. Sushi at my doorstep. Oh, wasabi. Oh, my throat is gone. Okay. So keep that in mind. Don't compromise on your sleep time. A journalist once asked me, Mr. Fernando, in your opinion, what's the number one issue with people in today's world? Is it their diet? I said, no. Is it the exercise? I said, no. What is it? I said, it's their sleep. Because we are living in very stressed out times. Not stress in terms of loss of life or death or war or famine, but just the pace at which we are moving. Boom, 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 boom. I keep monitoring my heart rate. Let me share my heart rate with you right now. I'm at 96 beats a minute because I am pumped up right now. Ideally, my heart rate right now should be about 65. If I was my grandfather version of myself, by now there would be no TV. I'd be relaxing, probably fast asleep at 8 o'clock in the evening, India time. So we are going to sleep with 6 hours, 7 hours, 4 hours of sleep. Don't kid yourself. I hear people at parties, oh, I can survive on 4 hours of sleep. I bet you I will be laughing over your grave many years later saying, oh, you slept for 4 hours. That's why you're in the ground right now. Don't mess with your sleep because people don't understand this. People like to boast about having lesser amount of sleep. If you have sleep problems, if you have insomnia problems, I'm just drinking right now chamomile tea. So I don't have a sleep problem, but when I drink chamomile tea, so I will finish the seminar about 8:30 or 9 or whatever time it's going to be. And what I want to say to all of you is that it's going to be a lot of agitation in my head to get to sleep. So I'm going to use a cup of chamomile tea to calm my brain down. So a lot of this is required. Stay hydrated, lots of water. How many of you have a glass right next to you? Please drink a glass of water for me right now. Stay hydrated. Some people talk about the dry fast. Okay to do dry fast. Do it once in a month for 2, 3 days. to clean up your body and stuff like that. No water also. Absolutely fine. Think of yourself going in the desert and not getting water for 3 days. Nothing's going to happen to you. If you have a liver or kidney problem, please don't cut this video out and put that part where I'm not put my disclaimer. If you have a liver or kidney problem, please do not do dry fasting. I am available online on my Instagram, which is Ryan Nutrition Coach, and I am also there on Facebook and LinkedIn.